All right, the Aztecs, they get the win over Colorado State, and this was the second half game. I mean, the first half was not great. Yeah, the St. John's game was on, and unfortunately saw St. John's lose on CBS Sports, and then it goes over to the San Diego State game, and it's like 14-3, and what the heck happened? It's Viejas Arena. They're playing at home. This is not what should be happening. And then they turn it around, obviously. They were down at halftime. Colorado State, they showed the graphic that they had a really good record after leading at halftime, like San Diego State, like most teams usually do, because when you lead at halftime, like, you have the advantage, obviously. And that other team that's losing has to play much better than you do to go win games, unless the deficit is, like, very small. Boy, did the Aztecs play better than Colorado State did in that second half. And that's why you play the whole game. 40-plus points for San Diego State, 11 points for Colorado State. Absolutely ridiculous. What happened? Colorado State was shooting over 50% in the first half, and then, obviously, they did not replicate that at all in the second half. And this is not me just wanting to bash Colorado State. Like, San Diego State totally deserves credit for this second half performance. Now, it was not good in the first half, and Brian Dutcher's probably going to be pissed off about what happened in the first half still, despite getting this win, because that's what elite coaches are. Like, when you have a high standard, even when you win, they're still learning lessons in wins. It's just much better to be learning those lessons in wins than in losses, obviously. But Jaden Ledee had a really, really good second half. Jay Powell, great defense. Lamont, some playmaking. Darion Trammell even making some shots. That was an impressive performance. And San Diego State, if they got to play every game at Viejas Arena, and they got to play tournament games at Viejas Arena, they'd probably go win the national championship. They probably have one already. Winning the national championship is very, very hard, but when San Diego State plays at Viejas Arena, it's just something different, and we got to give credit to Aztecs fans for bringing that energy. It's easy to bring the energy, obviously, in the second half like it was tonight when the team's playing much better, but when that is happening, when San Diego State starts to play better at home, and they're going on these, I think it was an 18-2 run at one point tonight, they're going on these runs, it seems like a March Madness atmosphere. Like, I know March Madness sometimes it's not a huge atmosphere because it's neutral site games, but let's say it was a game in Anaheim and San Diego State was playing in it, and it's just a huge San Diego State crowd. That's what it felt like. It felt like it was one of those playoff NBA games at home. I mean, Vegas crowd went nuts, so props to everyone that went to the game tonight. But yeah, these are needed wins when you're playing at home, because they had obviously struggled on the road against New Mexico, Colorado State, Boise State. You don't want to get swept by Colorado State in the season series, in the two games, and especially one of them at home. And if you want to stay near atop the Mountain West Conference, in what is a tough conference, there's 6 good teams in this conference, including San Diego State and including Colorado State. You want to stay atop that conference, obviously you got to be winning these home games. Despite being down at halftime, turning it around is so crucial, and there are, again, these lessons, learning the lessons in wins. That's going to make Brian Dutcher much more happy than if they would have lost this game and you would have had to go over the tape and learn the lessons again, tomorrow and the days after before their next game. Losing this game, it would have been their first home loss, I believe, of the year at Viejas, and that's definitely not what you want. Definitely not what you want when you're playing in such a tough conference. But yeah, Jaden Ledee has been one of the best players in the country. There's been some games where he has been slowed down by opponents, and mostly it's because other guys around him don't have great games, and so Ledee definitely can be minimized. But the second half, he went off, and the defense was Aztecs defense for sure.